Whoops. And welcome to another SwishPOP live stream tonight. It's a late night stream like always. It's 11:30 at night, so hopefully you got your pajamas on and you're ready to talk some G.I. Joe and Transformers. Just 1 second while I just double check a few things. Don't want to ever reproduce that epic failure of a couple weekends ago. Just give me 1 second. And okay, I'm waiting for a couple things to come through. And we'll see. We'll get on the go. Just 1 second here. Silly YouTube. Oh my gosh. Just 1 second, guys. Okay, so welcome to the stream. And you know what? It's a late night, 11:30 p.m. stream. And let's talk some G.I. Joe and Transformers. Let's see here. What's the topics for today? Okay. I'm going to wait actually a couple seconds while, let's see if anyone shows up. But you know what? Let me just get queued up here. Let me just see here for a second. Let me just get all set up. Oh, man. So, today is June 29th. And what am I looking for here? I'm looking for something. Yeah, I'm looking for this. Okay, we're looking for that. Okay. And yes. Top chat. Okay. So, you know what, guys? Like, a lot's been happening lately in the Transformers and G.I. Joe community. And if you're fans of the channel, you've noticed lately, I've only been producing videos on streams. Transformers, the team had several streams. The G.I. Joe team has had several streams. The G.I. Joe team is set to have another stream tomorrow, which we all know is going to be a big one. And you know what? We've talked about another video, another stream actually as well. So we're all expecting big news from G.I. Joe team tomorrow. And we'll have to see how it goes, to be honest with you, because if you are a fan of the channel, you've seen my recent video on there, and basically it deals with GIJoe June fail. As a longtime fan of G.I. Joe and G.I. Joe Classified, you come to look forward to GIJoe June, and I have to be honest, I've been a little disappointed with it so far. But you know what? There's a chance, a slim chance, I mean, there's more than a slim chance, they're going to rectify a bunch of stuff tomorrow with their latest live stream. And we know what's coming. We're getting HasLab details, finally. So me personally, I am actually 1 for 3 for HasLabs. I passed on the His Tank originally when it came out. Kind of regret that, but it was kind of this weird situation where it was the first time and we didn't know what we were going to get and what the quality was going to be like and, you know, what we were getting into with these HasLabs. So I passed on that. And when I seen it come out and realized, okay, yeah, you know, it worked out fairly well, I made the decision to actively back the Dragonfly HasLab. I thought they did a very good job with the Dragonfly HasLab. I was kind of actually, if I do bring it back for 1 second, I was kind of disappointed they didn't do a similar thing compared to the His Tank. So like the His Tank had different stretch goals where you had figures and accessories for the His Tank. So that I liked that. And when they did the Dragonfly and it was just mainly figures or whatever, I was a little disappointed, but they did bring out a good assortment of figures or whatever for the Dragonfly. So I made sure I backed that. It was expensive, but you know what? That was a major part of the Real American Hero line, the Dragonfly. So I wanted to make sure I backed it when it came out to Classified. When we came down last year to the Cobra Rattler, it was a tough decision. The Cobra Rattler is by far one of my most favorite Cobra vehicles, but it just came down to, it was a pricing thing, and I was really worried about the size of the vehicle and how big it would be. If I'm really honest with you right now, I still don't even really have my Dragonfly unpacked because I don't really have a place for it. Even though it comes with a stand, so I mean it's easy to put together and give it a place in your home. So the idea of the Rattler scared me a little bit, and the pricing of it. It was going to be, I'd say, roughly almost $500 Canadian to get it to my door. So I was like, ooh, that's a little pricey. Anyways, long story short, I did not back the Rattler, just because of the price, the sizing. Also, the stretch goals weren't that great with it. Like they did that Baroness, which is like one of the best Baronesses they've ever done, and a really amazing figure. But it wasn't, that first tier where they did the patches. That was ludicrous. Like there's no way that should have got approved as the first tier. But the Rattler, a bunch of people have gotten it delivered now, and you're starting to see pictures show up. I'm not really sure if anyone in Canada has received theirs as of yet. Hopefully within the next week or so. But I mean, I think they did a really good job on it, and I think they've done a really good job on it. So I mean, I think for people out there who did get it, they will be happy with it, and I'm glad there's a lot of people out there that got it. But it's still a size thing, and it is great that they've put in the feature, and a lot of people weren't aware of this when they ordered it, that the actual wings can fold up, so it like reduces that footprint if you have it on display or whatever. Although I don't really see a scenario where you would have it on the display and have the wings up. So I mean that's kind of silly or whatever in a way. I mean, the wings up was more of a say like on an aircraft carrier thing, or like on a runway. So I mean, it is really cool. It is really cool, and I think they did a great job on it. I would love to have one, but it just wasn't in the cards. So tomorrow we are expecting to get final details on the next HasLab, which, I mean, we've all seen the leaks and we've all seen the hints and the teases. Unless they're throwing us some crazy major curveball, I think we assume at this point it's going to be a Snowcat. So there are some concerns, I think, from the community. There's a lot of people that are like, well, I don't know if the Snowcat is deserving of being a HasLab, because the HasLab is supposed to be these these unruly big large vehicles like the Dragonfly and the Cobra Rattler. I mean, the Hiss, they chose what size it was going to be basically, so I mean it could have been a little smaller, it could have been a little bigger. Planes and helicopters are normally big. So related to the Snowcat, it'll be interesting to see how that does work out. I'm fine with it. The Snowcat is one of the more popular vehicles in my mind when it comes to G.I. Joe Real American Hero. Now, I might have a bit of a, bias for it because I live in Canada. So in Canada, we see a lot of snow. So the Snowcat and some of the other winter vehicles are very popular in the Canadian collector community. So I think the Snowcat is going to be very, very popular here in Canada. I've seen some people complain that the idea of the Snowcat might not be what they're into because, maybe they live in California or, somewhere down south in the United States, and the idea of a winter snow vehicle doesn't really jive that well with them. And because one would assume that if we're going to get a winter vehicle, we're going to get some winter themed figures, right? So I can understand that concern if you live in Florida or California and you're like, we don't really get winter here, and it doesn't really fit with my play pattern that I'm used to. So not that, a lot of us aren't necessarily playing with this thing out in the front yard or whatever, but I can understand it doesn't necessarily have the mass appeal of maybe some of the other vehicles. A lot of people wanted to see some like a Mobat or a Mauler, some kind of tank, right? So this is all speculation based on it's going to be a HasLab Snowcat. I mean, I think it's at this point, it's 98% for a done deal. I haven't been on Twitter today, so I don't know. Maybe there's leaks out there already. I've spending time with the family on the weekend, so I'm not up on my Twitter universe or whatever to see what leaks are out there. Anyways, I'll check it out later, I guess, after the stream. I mean, I think it's gonna be good. There's a couple things though, like I mean, we assume they're gonna do similar to the Dragonfly and the Rattler, where the stretch goals are gonna be figures and not necessarily accessories for the vehicle. The thing is, like if you were like thinking going crazy about like stretch goals, you could obviously have some vehicles. Just one second. No. Sorry, I meant to say figures. But then, like, what if you like had like one of these, the Battle Polar Bear, as a stretch goal, like the 18,000 stretch goal? You get like one of these as a side vehicle. That would be pretty sweet. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I mean, it's a possibility. It could happen, but I mean, I don't know. I think they're probably gonna stick with figures. But this would be a good idea. The thing is, if they do the Snowcat, I would expect this to come to the classified line within a year. And the reason why I say that, because if you go back and look at the HISS tank, they released the HISS tank, and then they released the Cobra mobile missile system, which the HISS tank could pull, and then they released that sorry, because I'm in my mouth. They released that's embarrassing. I had popcorn kernel in my mouth. Then they released that the 3-pack, I can't remember what it was called, like the infantry, the HISS tank infantry guys or whatever that were in the HISS tank colors. So basically, I guess they supported the HISS tank with additional things. So I mean, if the snowmobile is not part of the actual HasLab offering, I could see them basically rolling it out in the future to accessorize the Snowcat with other things. I think that's a good possibility. So if we don't see it in the HasLab announcement, I would definitely expect it within the year. Okay, so we can mark that down. I'm just gonna put this back. Sorry, just throwing it back over there in the pile. There's like 2 or 3 of them. Love building those things. They're so easy to build. So I mean, for figures, like we've already talked about in the stream before, and I didn't want to do a speculation video on the Snowcat, because I've actually done a couple ones previously before we even got like the teases about it. And basically I'll do a reaction video with my thoughts on what they reveal. So that'll probably be up on Tuesday, maybe. I mean, like normally my normal videos release on Friday morning at 8:15 a.m. But anytime there's like, a time sensitive thing, I'll try to put out a video right away. So expect a video Tuesday morning. If at the very latest something comes up Wednesday morning about the HasLab reaction. So stay tuned for that. So what do you guys think? Like, do you think we're gonna get a Snowcat? I think it's pretty much guaranteed. And like for figures, like what we've seen before, we've gotten 4 figures with the Dragonfly, and actually I don't know if the Rattler comes with 4 figures. Does the Rattler come with 4 figures? I'm not really sure. But the Dragonfly comes with 4 figures. I believe the HISS tank came with 4 figures. So I would assume at this point we get Frostbite, who is the driver of the Snowcat. I mean, I think that's a guarantee. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I mentioned this earlier. I think they need a callback figure to kind of like tie it all in, much like the Glenda for the Dragonfly. I think they're gonna do Quinn as part of that, because I don't think he's mainliney enough where they need to put him in the main line. I think a lot of people are gonna want him, and if they put him in the HasLab, that is gonna draw some people in to buy the HasLab. So I think that's where we go with that. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that necessarily collect mainline classified that are like, oh, I hope we get a Quinn figure. I think he's a callback from the comic books, the early comic books, and I think that is a great place to put him in there, as put him in with the Snowcat HasLab. So I think we get Frostbite. I think we get Quinn. If you look at the Dragonfly, we kind of got a couple of mainline figures, but like they're Night Force versions. I don't know how they'll do that. I don't know. I mean, I think if we're going to get some, say, mainline characters, that like characters that we actually like recognize or whatever. I don't think they'll put the generic trooper in there. Cobra is good for doing generic Cobra troopers, okay? But G.I. Joe, we have named characters for G.I. Joe usually, so I don't expect like a green shirt in a parka or something like that, okay? I think that would be kind of silly. I mean, it could happen. I'm not going to deny it could happen. But I think that's not where they should go with that. But we'll have to wait and see. And once again, I've not been on Twitter, so I don't know if anything's leaked out. So you're trying to get my honest opinions here, my thoughts, my own thoughts, right? So I think we're going to get Frostbite, Quinn. I would suspect Blizzard, because Blizzard is close enough to, say, Snow Job. I don't know if he necessarily needs that mainline reveal or release. I think we're going to get Blizzard. And a fourth one, somebody mentioned it on my Twitter feed, and I hope they don't do this, but a lot of times they do like to include female characters, and somebody mentioned the idea of a Lady J in a snow parker. I really hope they don't do that. I could see it happening, but I hope they don't do it, because I think that's a total waste. I think they should go with like Arctic Stalker or Sub-Zero, somebody like somebody's a little obscure. Arctic Stalker is pretty cool, because I mean he is a mainline character, but like kind of a variant or whatever. Or I mean, I guess once again, like I mentioned earlier, if the Snowcat happens, maybe they accessorize the Snowcat later on in the line with a deluxe Arctic Stalker, so he comes with the kayak and stuff like that. So I mean, that's always a possibility further down the line. Like at some point, if the Snowcat happens, they are going to want to accessorize that Snowcat to incentivize other purchases to go with that one. So we'll probably get the snowmobile. We'll get maybe like, maybe we'll get some of those generic Joes and the Parker, the snow in the winter coat, guys. Sorry, the Parker winter coat. Down the line, I think that'll happen for sure. So whatever doesn't happen within the HasLab reveal will happen for sure down the line to accessorize and incentivize everyone out there to purchase more stuff to build up their winter display. I mean, because you're going to probably need some Cobras eventually, and that's not going to be part of the HasLab. So you're probably going to need some Cobras, and we've already got the Snow Serpent. So I think that's what we're going to see. So Frostbite, Quinn, Blizzard, and I really hope it's not Lady J in a snow jacket and a jacket. But I could see that happening. What are your thoughts? Let me know. I don't know. We'll see how it happens. I'm super excited. So I'm assuming, sorry, I haven't looked at the schedule recently. I'm assuming it's going to happen at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. I'll be tuning in, and I'll be there with you. And I'll have a reaction video put up the next morning to talk about my thoughts about it. If it was good, if it was bad. While we're on the topic of bad. I mentioned earlier in the stream, I did a video this week about GIJoe, GIJoe June, and how I personally think they've let us down with what they've provided. And just quickly, I mean, the first stream was good. The second stream didn't happen. The third stream was about the comic books and contained a bunch of spoilers. And the fourth stream didn't happen, and it was a double shadow drop on, basically they did an hour-long unboxing of the Rattler, and they did a behind the scenes of the Overwatch 2 GIJoe collaboration. And I had strong thoughts about this, and you should watch the video on the channel if you want to hear my strong thoughts. This is just the Cole's notes of it. And basically, they promised us a bunch of streams, and they didn't deliver. And usually when they do streams, they give us like some name-only character reveals, or they give us render reveals, and we really didn't get that for the much of the month, except for the first stream. So, I mean, I don't know if they just don't have anything in the works, or they just didn't get to it or whatever, but it's kind of disappointing. So, The thing is, I don't know if we'll see any of these additional render reveals or the name only reveals during the HasLab presentation, because that kind of takes away from their like big HasLab push or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But back to the video I did, like it's just very ironic that they promised us streams, which we assume were going to be 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. We all tuned in. The second one was canceled. The third one never happened. The fourth one was a couple shadow drops around that time. Like, I mean, I was there last week at 11, refreshing Hasbro Pulse's YouTube page. Like, guys, where's the stream? Where's the stream? Where are we going live? What are we talking about? And then I gave up on it and I went to lunch. And then basically, when I come back from lunch, they had released these shadow dropped videos on their YouTube channel, which were like pre-recorded, pre-scripted, done. The thing is, the HasLab unboxing. Okay, first of all, that box that the Rattler comes in is fire. Like, I have the Dragonfly box right there, and the Rattler box is amazing as well. But the thing is, and this is just my own personal complaint, nobody has to agree with this or whatever, but an hour-long unboxing of what I would consider a niche product was a long time. And, I don't know, that people can have their own opinions about this or whatever. I personally think this should have been about a part of a stream and reduced down in length or whatever. Nobody needs necessarily sit there for an hour and watch them reveal the product or whatever. Like, they're just taking it out of the box. That could have been like a 20-minute version, maybe 25-minute version, and take it out and show it off or whatever. I think that would have been perfectly acceptable, and include it in a stream. And then as well, include that the Overwatch collab details in a stream, reduce that to 2 to 5 minutes as well. The thing is, like, although HasLab is a big thing, and like there's the Marvel ones, the Star Wars ones, the GIJoe ones, and the Transformer ones, they're big things in the community. But I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but roughly, if we're just gonna go over it roughly, for the Hiss Tank, the Dragonfly, and the Cobra Rattler, about 20,000 people bought those. Could have been 18,000, could have been 22,000. Let's just say 20,000 for easy numbers. That's only like 20,000. That's 20,000 per one. I mean, I told you earlier I bought the Dragonfly, but I don't have the Hiss or the Rattler. So, those numbers carrying over between all three of them is not a necessary guarantee. So you could have 20,000 unique people. You're going to have some carryover, but 20,000 customers basically purchase those. That's not a lot when you break it down. And so to have like an hour-long niche video about the topic, I haven't looked at the views, but how many people actually sat down and watched the whole hour video? It seems like it was a long time. I mean, I fast-forwarded throughout a bunch of it. I mean, one could argue that it's potentially like advertisement for the next HasLab. In a way, they were smart to release that before the next tomorrow stream, because people who maybe like myself who are on the fence about the Cobra Rattler, now they get to see like the quality of the product, and hey, maybe I'll order the next one. I mean, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe that's the thing. So I don't know. I personally think I don't really think we needed an hour-long video, and I don't like how. And I talked about this in my video, and I'm sorry I'm repeating here, but I just wanted to make sure, because not everyone who watches the stream might watch the video. I don't like how the videos or streams that they showed us in between during the weeks, they were lightly scheduled. Like, you'd find out about them like like a bit before the stream, and then you would check in, and sometimes they would late. But, a big stream like the HasLab one where they want your money. Hey guys, can you come watch our stream? Because we're going to show a new product, and we're going to basically want you to order a $500 toy. Those are scheduled days in advance, and basically, we'll see it come alive like right on time. it's kind of annoying. I'm not really happy with the way the G.I. Joe team has been managing stuff for GIJoe June. I mean, but whatever. What are we going to do, right? We're all here. We're going to buy product. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they get their act together and the HasLab stream tomorrow is well put together. Normally they have well done, highly produced videos to like show these things off with the cartoon cuts and edits. So hopefully it's great. And I personally, I'm not pushing it on anyone. I personally will make my own decision if I want to back it. I think it has to be really cool, and it has to come with a certain select bunch of characters for me to back it. Like, if they just phone it in and the character selection for those, like, say, 4 potential slots are not that great, I'm not going to back it myself. But I have faith in them. They've done us good in the past. So hopefully, they will be able to pull it together and really get it done. And the thing is, we'll obviously see a promotional video. We'll see some stuff tomorrow, and then San Diego Comic-Con is in a couple weeks, and basically they'll have it on display there with, you know, the diorama type thing, and people get to see it up close. So fingers crossed, it all works out, and you know, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let me know. You can leave a comment if you're watching this afterward. Let me know if you are going to back it or you backed it if you're watching this video after the stream, and let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. So let's just see here. Where is my? Oh, this is something different now. Something different here. If I display images, move this over. So this came up. There's a Kickstarter coming from G.I. Joe for a Risk game that is G.I. Joe Special Missions. This is different. It's funny because I go to the thrift store often, and when I go to the thrift store, they will show I'll see like a lot of different like board games, and like you can get like Halo Risk. And you can get like a lot of different themed ones. There's like a future one, like Risk 2042. I don't know if that's the number, but like a future Risk. So this is kind of cool. So this hasn't started yet. And there's a link, and I don't have the link available right now, but I'm sure if you Google Kickstarter G.I. Joe Risk, it'll come up. I'll put it in the comments later. Because I don't have where I bookmarked it. Let's see. Actually, I do have it. That's a lie. Let's see. Give me 1 second. And there we go. And then if I oops. Okay. Okay, I'm having problems here. Anyways, I just put it in the chat there. So hopefully it shows up eventually. Anyways, so, I mean, this is kind of cool. So basically, if you read the details on this, basically it says, in Risk, G.I. Joe Special Missions, 2 to 4 players each join one of 2 factions, G.I. Joe or Cobra, and seek to complete missions or resolve plots in an effort to score the most objective points by the end of the game. One of 5 master scenario guides the actions, leading to conflicts erupting in hotspots around the world. This keeps the action tense and players on their toes as no 2 games unfold in the same way. At the end of 3 rounds, the factions with the most objectives wins. It sounds pretty cool. As of right now, it has 484 followers. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. It could be pretty cool. I mean, it's done by Renegade Games. It looks like they've done like a bunch of other stuff or whatever. So I'm sure they've done these theme games before. Anyways, so it's kind of cool. I just wanted to bring that up. Somebody might be interested in it. Anyways, just 1 second. Why? Okay, there it is. Just having a little problem. Technical difficulties with my my stuff here. Okay, I don't know why that's like that. Okay. So, I mean, GIJoe Risk, I think it might be worth checking out. I don't know. I'm not a big Kickstarter backer, but people out there love Kickstarter. People are like, I got some money, I'm going to throw this at the Kickstarter. So, let's talk about Transformers for a second. Now, I know this is kind of weird, okay? So, I got a few people watching here or whatever, and like I bouncing back and forth between Transformers and GIJoe because that's what my channel's about. It's called the SwishPOP, and obviously you probably know that if you're here watching. But basically, this is what I do. I do Transformers and GIJoe. That's what interests me. I'm sure the algorithm doesn't love it. I'm sure YouTube really hates it because it's like, hey, do we show your stuff to GIJoe people or we still show your stuff to Transformer people? I'm sure it complains all the time. So, but you know what? I'm not here for the numbers. I'm just here to make content for you guys and to have a good time. So, you know, that's why I do weekly videos, and it kind of bounces back and forth between GIJoe and Transformers depending on what's hot in the news. And so, like I've said, I've given you guys a couple videos on the streams this week. My thoughts, I thought the Transformer guys did an amazing stream this week, and the GIJoe guys, not so much. So I gave you my thoughts. And the thing is, what you notice about me, especially in like say the YouTube shorts I do and the videos on the channel, I am very direct on what I think Hasbro has done, good or bad. Hasbro has never reached out to me and said, hey, would you like some free toys or stuff like that? And you know what? If they did, I would probably take them, but I'm still going to give you my honest opinions on stuff, okay? So there's no access media here for me. There's no like, okay, well, I'm only going to talk good about Hasbro, about their stuff. But no, that's not how I play. I give you honest opinions on stuff. So like, if I don't like Transformer stuff or I don't like GIJoe stuff, I will tell you how I feel about it. Obviously I like this stuff because I have my whole YouTube channel revolves around it. But there's fanboys out there who like will love this stuff no matter what the company pushes out. And I'm not like that. I'll give you my honest opinion on everything that I review or I talk about on this channel. So stick with me about that, okay? So what were we talking about here again? We were talking about, we talked about the GIJoe, I didn't mention the Overwatch collab. We'll just circle back to that. I was going to talk about Transformers for a second. Well, let's circle back to the GIJoe Overwatch collab. So that starts, I believe, July 1st, which is in a couple days, which is Canada Day. Big day here in Canada. Don't worry about it if you're not Canadian. It's a fun day. But it starts then, and basically you have 5 characters. I believe you have Destro, Cobra Commander, Baroness, Scarlet, and Snake Eyes introduced into that game. And I mean, from the promotional video, there's a promotional video up on YouTube where they showed like video footage from the game. I think it looks pretty cool. Now, once again, I actually love video games. I'm a big guy into video games. I've been playing video games for like a million years. But I don't actually play Overwatch. Do any of you guys play Overwatch? I tried it like a long time ago when the first game came out, and because it was supposed to be this big thing, and I don't really like it. And the reason why I don't like Overwatch, bear with me for one moment, is there's the tactile sensation of you hitting your melee weapons against the other characters doesn't exist. So like, and once again, I'm not an Overwatch expert, and I don't pretend to be, and I could be wrong about this. Maybe they fixed it, or maybe they've changed it in the years, because Overwatch has been around for a number of years. But basically, you say if you swing a big hammer, it goes through necessarily the character, and that character is dealt a certain amount of damage based on your stats and stuff like that. And I don't like that. I don't like that the tactile feeling is not necessarily there compared to, say, like Diablo or something like that. I know they're different games. So that's just my opinion. I do play on Xbox, and basically I have Game Pass, so I think Overwatch 2 is in Game Pass, or if it's Overwatch 2 still free. That's how little I know about Overwatch. But basically, I will certainly load up Overwatch and try out the GIJoe collaboration, and you guys should check it out too. Even if you're not into Overwatch, just check it out. I want to check it out. I'll see how it goes. I don't expect I'll be pumping many hours into it, but I mean, I think actually, when you really think about it, it is kind of a weird collaboration. And the way I say that, the reason I say that is because G.I. Joe, I would probably consider one of Hasbro's smaller franchises. Like Transformers has like the West and like Takara and like here in North America, like it has a big following, right? G.I. Joe, not so much. So the idea that they actually did a collab for G.I. Joe, I think it's kind of different and kind of unique. I mean, maybe the Overwatch team, maybe someone on the Overwatch team is like, just huge into G.I. Joe. And they're like, man, we should do a collab because we got these characters that could fit in perfect for skins for our characters. I don't know where they came up with that, but I mean, it's a good idea. So I'll try and check it out for sure. Okay. Now we'll jump to Transformers. And sorry, usually when I do these streams, I don't necessarily do, say, like the half G.I. Joe and half Transformers. Usually it's a bit more free-flowing, and I'll bounce back and forth between the topics or whatever. So, but today, the way I just had it listed out was I just had the G.I. Joe ones first, and because that's more, say, pressing at the moment with the HasLab reveal tomorrow. And then there's the Transformer stuff was kind of earlier in the week, and we'll get more stuff closer to Comic-Con, I'm assuming, about Transformers. But Transformers. Now, here is a doozy, okay? So, actually two things, and they're kind of related. The first thing, there is a big rumor out there right now that the Transformers team at Skybound are pushing to have a cartoon series done on one of the big streaming services. So I mean, that is really cool. Now, that's a rumor, and the rumor is that we will get more details possibly at San Diego Comic-Con. So I mean, I fully support that. Like, I'm a little concerned on how. So I said the Transformer team, but what I meant to say was the Energon universe. They will do a cartoon series on the Energon universe, and of course, I would assume that would include the Transformers section and the G.I. Joe section because they're kind of really highly linked together, right? So, I mean, I think if they could do this right, it would be really cool. The thing about this, if they did do it, they do have to get the right animation team. And while I don't actually watch a lot of animation in my years currently, like, have you ever back up for a second? Have you ever tried to go back and watch the cartoons of Transformers and G.I. Joe? I have tried a couple times, and sometimes they're a little hard to watch. Okay, like, they were good back in the day when we were all like, 5, 6, 7, 8 or whatever. But they're a little hard to watch sometimes as kids. As adults now. But anyways, I mean, I appreciate some of the more serious shows. Some of the wacky shows, I can't necessarily watch the wacky episodes. But what I did watch recently in the last couple of years was, say, like Master Force and the other one, Headmasters. Those were cool. I found those a bit more adult oriented or whatever. They're just more, kept my attention a bit more. But one thing I did enjoy recently, I watched two more adult oriented cartoon series, which would be the Cyberpunk 2077 and Castlevania. And Castlevania has 6 seasons over 2 shows, and that show was very well done. And if they could bring something that sorry, via Phoenix. Yes, the cartoons are very good. The Transformer cartoons and the G.I. Joe cartoon is just some of the episodes are just a little out there as watching them as an adult. I know you got to turn off your brain and just watch them and enjoy them. I get it, but it's just Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. But yes, I do enjoy them. Don't get me wrong. I love G.I. Joe and I love Transformers. And that's why everything here exists, is because that's what I grew up on. And that's where the love of both these franchises came from. So don't worry. I do love the cartoons. Don't worry, I do. So what I was saying, if they can do this Energon Universe series correctly, and get the right company doing the animation, like the team that did Castlevania, or even the Cyberpunk team. I don't have the names of those teams in front of me or whatever, but basically I think there is hope. I would like to see this, see these series done more animation, not as much like computer animation. Now I know all cartoon animation is basically some kind of computer animation these days or whatever, but the Castlevania one and the Cyberpunk one were done really like in a nice animated, I got your joke, Phoenix, don't worry. Are done in a nice animated way. I was not necessarily a fan of the 3 Transformers series that Netflix had, which was Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom. I didn't like the animation style, and I found the stories were like a bit rough, a bit like just too, I don't know. There's something about them. I actually didn't even finish Kingdom. I don't think. I should go back and watch it. I should go back and watch it. But the thing is, I think the Energon Universe story has a good amount of oomph to it, and I think if they did it correctly, I think it will turn out great. Now the thing is, with these animation projects, these shows, they take a couple of years to put together, right? Like for Castlevania, I don't even know if we're getting any more Castlevania, because you know the first series ended with 4 seasons. The second series is on season 2. It finished. I don't know if there's a third season coming. But for like G.I. Joe, Transformers, Energon Universe, I mean, that could be like a couple years in development. You know, you got to get it together. You got to get it animated. You got to get everything, you know, put together. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we do get some kind of actual announcement at San Diego Comic-Con to at least allow us as the fans to know that it's coming. So fingers crossed we'll see that coming. I mean, currently I am reading the Skybound, the comic books, the G.I. Joe and the Transformers. I'm not caught up as of yet, but I think I mentioned this in another stream. As of right now, I do enjoy the G.I. Joe one a bit better than the Transformer one. So it'll be interesting to see how they did a cartoon where they're going to have to interlace the two franchises more together. We'll see how it works out. So let me know if you guys are interested. I mean, I am interested. The other thing, and I said these two things were related. The other thing is related to media properties. Apparently, word on the street is that Michael Bay is interested in coming back to the movie series. Oh man, I don't know how I feel about this one. Now, it's funny. I think I might have mentioned this last stream as well. A lot of younger Transformer fans really, really enjoy the Michael Bay movies and the whole Bayverse stuff. That is great. Everyone is allowed to enjoy whatever Transformer series they grew up with. And, you know, a lot of younger people, they grow up with those movies and they just necessarily have a cartoon series that they grow up with. That's fine. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan. I've watched them all, but I don't love them. Like, the first one is okay because it's like the first one in live action. I think the second one is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. The third one is pretty bad as well. The fourth and fifth one, I'll be honest with you, I would be able to tell you the plots to each of them right now because I think they're related somehow. I'm not really sure, so I don't know if the fourth and the fifth one. I believe the sixth one is the Bumblebee one, which I found really good. And the seventh one is the Rise of the Beast one, which recently came out. And I thought that one was fairly decent. And they introduced the idea that we may see G.I. Joe show up in the next one. And of course, that's already been discussed, that potentially there's an upcoming G.I. Joe Transformer crossover. Now, there's a couple things on the go here. Let's put a pin in Michael Bay for a second. The Paramount Movie Studios owns, they do the rights. They have the rights to produce Transformer movies. And apparently they're in the process of losing the rights if they don't produce something in the next couple of years. They did the Transformer 1 movie. They released that. I seen Transformer 1. I thought it was fairly well done. I don't think it's the best movie ever. I enjoyed it, but it was almost like there was two sides to it. Like Megatron was very serious and very edgy, and that was cool as an adult, where Optimus Prime was very kiddish, childish, and that appealed to children. So it's kind of this weird thing where they, I don't really know if they had a clear idea of what they were going for in the movie. The first trailer made it look very, very childish in my idea. I'm sorry, I'm rambling here. In my eyes, and that's just my opinion. So, because as a long-time Transformer fan, it's not necessarily what I thought they should be going for. Overall, I thought they should go for more Transformers, say Prime, Robots in Disguise Prime, that kind of more realistic, edgy, like an actual computer animated movie. That's where I would have went or whatever, because I feel that appealed to children and probably collectors. Like, I do think the movie was fairly well done. It just wasn't spectacular. Okay. And now Transformer hype guy out there, he will tell you different, and that's totally okay, because a lot of people like what he says. A lot of people don't like what he says. And I've had some run-ins with him too. But he's a good guy. He's a good guy to be part of the community. And the Transformer 1 movie, they've come out and basically said, quote unquote, was a flop. It didn't make back the money that it needed to make back, so there's no necessary plans as of right now to make a Transformers 2, right? So that's off the table. We have this G.I. Joe Transformer collaboration movie, and now Michael Bay is supposed to be coming back to do a Transformer movie as well. Now, are those the same projects? I'm not really sure, because, in Michael Bay's movies, we used to see the military a lot, and people didn't really like how they fit in with the movies, so they kind of got rid of them in the latest one. So we'll see how that goes. So are they two different projects? I don't really know at the moment. I'll track this and I'll provide details on it as we go and we get more details about it. I don't know how this is going to work out. To me, it seems like the Bayverse has had a lot of kicks at the can. I think the early movies especially have made a lot of money. And when it comes down to it, money is what drives this industry. I do think that's great for the companies. I personally, as a Transformer fan, I'm not a fan of the works of art that they are producing. So, I've talked about this publicly on Twitter before. I do not have not one single Transformer movie Bayverse toy in my collection. Not interested in them. I'm trying to think. I hope that's true. I don't want to lie to you guys. Anyways, but that's just me. And that's just because I grew up on the earlier stuff, and that's what Transformers is to me. So I still enjoy Transformers, mostly Generation 1, but a lot of other stuff like Robots in Disguise, R.I.D. 2001. I enjoy that series. But everyone's allowed to enjoy whatever Transformers they like. There's nothing wrong with whatever you like and whatever I like. We're allowed to like different things, and that's just how I feel. A lot of people out there, I see recently online, a lot of hate towards Generation 1. And a lot of the younger people are kind of fed up with why does Hasbro always go back to Generation 1 over and over and over? And they kind of get annoyed with those Generation 1 toy slots in the waves are taking up Bayverse stuff that they want to see produced. And once again, people are allowed to like that stuff, and I'm allowed to like my stuff, but you shouldn't necessarily be giving hate to things or whatever. I will poke fun at the movie stuff. There's actually a couple good shorts on my channel about the movie stuff, but I'm necessarily giving a hate. I'm just poking fun or whatever, right? You should never hate another thing or whatever. But a lot of people are really upset that Generation 1 is still a thing and still being produced. And you have to realize that without Generation 1, you wouldn't have Bayverse stuff. Like the success of Transformers is built on Generation 1. Now, at some point, we're probably going to start to slow down Generation 1 and move towards more stuff because it's getting older, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think we should necessarily have a hate on for Generation 1 when it has given us so many classic characters. Anyways, that is a long ramble. I am concerned about Bay coming back to the series. I don't ever want to see a Transformer movie fail. I would love to see some amazing Transformer movies being produced. I think for a lot of us Generation 1 fans, when the first movie was being produced, we had like high hopes. And when it came out, it didn't necessarily meet those high hopes that we had or the ideas that we portrayed in our head of what this was going to be. And I think that's kind of stuck with the series as it goes on. I think that's the problem for a bunch of us Generation 1 guys. But I'll watch it. I went to the theater and I seen Rise of the Beasts, knowing that it's not necessarily going to be my favorite movie, but I still went and supported it, and I wanted to see it. And I have to be honest, when the GIJoe guys showed up at the end, I had to fight back tears of joy because I thought that was pretty cool how they included the GIJoe guys. Now, it was a pretty cool stinger at the end, and I'm sorry if you haven't watched Rise of the Beasts yet to see the GIJoe section, and I just spoiled that for you, but it's been out for a couple of years, and it's on Netflix or Disney Plus now or something like that, so you can watch it there. You can fast forward to the end. If you're not a Transformer guy and you just want to see the GIJoe section, fast forward to the end, and it is the stinger included with the movie. Of course, the part at the end where it shows you potentially what they're working on for the next movie. I think they did a good job with that. I think that Transformer movie was fairly good. I think it was better than the other bunch that they had done before, 4 and 5 especially. So I think Transformer movies do have a place, and I think they have a potential. They just have to find the right designs for them. I like the Rise of the Beast designs better than the other Bayverse stuff. The Bumblebee designs, they had the formula. At the beginning of the Bumblebee movie, they do that Cybertronian section. You give people an hour and a half of that, gold, bazillion dollars, and I guarantee it. I don't understand why they will not focus more on that Cybertronian war on Cybertron. Give us some kind of movie about that. I don't know. I guess it would be potentially expensive to produce, but I mean, give us something like that. Why have those Fall for Cybertron and War for Cybertron games not coming back as of yet? Like, people love this war on Cybertron, and we don't see enough of it. Give us some of that stuff, and I guarantee you Paramount will be making money hand over fist, and Hasbro will be making hand over fist money as well. They often leave stuff on the table, these companies, and I don't understand why they do this. Like, how come they don't have regular people like us on a panel and like telling us, hey guys, we would like to see this, and can you make it so we can make money on it? You know, I think it's like an easy win. Give us a research panel and put some regular people on it, and let's figure out what the regular person, the regular Transformer person out there wants to see in their movies, and allow them to make that and make them, the company, some money. I think it's easy. My mouth is so dry right now. I started the stream without. I usually have a glass of water here, and I would kill for a glass of water right now. So sorry, my mouth is sticking together, guys. I always say I'm a rookie streamer, so you gotta bear with me sometimes, okay, about this. So Bayverse, we'll see it continue. I don't know. You know, it's funny. We talk about streams and mistakes or whatever. Last week, this week, it wasn't a stream. It was in the Transformer video and about the awesome stream the Transformer team did. And I actually made a mistake, and I was so embarrassed. Somebody called me on it in the comments. I referred to the Transformer 1, Alita 1 pink like Transformer that turns into like a motorcycle. I referred to her as RC for the whole segment, and people were not happy about that. I mean, it's just a brain thing. You know, you see a pink Transformer, a female pink Transformer, and in my head, it's always going to be RC. Alita 1 is kind of not necessarily the top mainstream figure character, so I referred to her as RC, and I apologize to all you Alita 1 fans out there. I should have been called Alita 1, so I'm sorry about that. I just want to bring that up. I actually had that in my notes. I wanted to bring it up. So, Transformer 1, I think a lot of people like that. I don't think necessarily the toys are selling that well. And you know what? The thing is, the movie toys never sell very well. And they produce so much stuff for kids, which it's totally okay because Transformers is in theory, a children's product or whatever. But I think they overproduce the kid stuff. A lot of it ends up in landfills. I think the adult collector stuff is doing fairly well. I think they've done fairly well on the designs for those as well. Me personally, like I said before, I don't have any movie stuff in my collection. I was contemplating, I actually pre-ordered the movie Transformer 1 Optimus Prime. I think I got him, but I ended up returning him. I was like, I'm not really in love with these designs. So I chose to stay away. Excuse me. I chose to stay away for now. Not interested in the Transformer 1 product, the toys. But whatever. There's lots more Transformer product out there right now. Speaking of Transformer product, I get a lot of my stuff from the thrift stores. And I have to be honest, I am on a bit of a dry spell recently. And I am getting annoyed. Because I go to the thrift store like almost every day. And I have not found anything in the longest while. I was there today actually, and what was there? There was a I can't remember his name. He's the Amrat from Transformers, the movie. It was a movie figure. It was a jungle. It was the guy that turns into the army vehicle. Oh shoot, I can't remember his name. I don't even know the names of some of these Transformer Bayverse characters. I can't remember his name. He was there, but he wasn't complete. I was going to pick him up. If he had been complete, I was going to pick him up, but he was not complete because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that do enjoy the movie figures, and I'm going to Transformer Con in a couple weeks, and I want to have a selection of things to potentially trade and sell. He wasn't complete, so I don't pick up incomplete figures anymore because you can't sell them. They're really hard to complete. The other thing, I was so close. On Friday, I went to the thrift store as well, and there was actually a Transformers movie masterpiece Starscream there for $5.99. So that's like the huge F-22 Raptor. He was there. He was $5.99, and I'm like, yeah, sure. He doesn't have some of his like accessory parts. Like I think he comes with like a lot of weapons you can put on him. And I was like, well, I gotta buy this for sure because somebody at TFCon would want this. And then I realized it looked like his back plate where his back wings adjust up was broken off. There was a hinge there. And I was like, oh my gosh, this would have been an epic find at the thrift store. A masterpiece movie figure for $5.99. I had a coupon. It would have been $3.99 Canadian. And I was like, do I buy it? Do I not? He's broken. And I just said I don't buy broken figures anymore because you're going to get stuck with them. I mean, but for $4, I should have almost bought him. He would have displayed amazing as the F-22 Raptor if you had to fix up his combining bits and tuck them all in. He would have looked amazing. I don't know. I'm sort of kicking myself. I don't know. Should I pick them up? I don't know. Should I pick them up? I mean, he would look cool as the F-22 Raptor. He would not have looked that great as Starscream. Now, once again, it would have been for myself. It would have been to resell because I don't like that Starscream design. Woo! I don't like that Starscream design whatsoever. So, I mean, it wouldn't have been for me, but it was a pretty awesome find. But related to the thrift store, I don't know if there's like, so I talk about the thrift store a lot on the channel here because it's a big part of where I get, like, you know, the stuff. My Centurions are from the thrift store. I have a lot of, you know, luck with the thrift store or whatever, right? Here in Ottawa, where I live, there's 4 or 5 value villages, which is, you know, your mainstream thrift store, not a mom and pop. It's a franchise. People donate their stuff and they just put it out and they sell it to you. How nice of them to sell people's stuff they don't have donate for free to you at a high price. But you can often find some good stuff. Now, the thing is, I have this theory, okay? Bear with me for a second. I believe at some of these thrift stores, there are probably people behind the scenes that are separating the good stuff and keeping it for themselves. I've heard stories. I'm not going to throw out any accusations with names or anything because I don't have any names, but this is just a theory of mine. And I have supporting evidence of this theory. And the reason why I say that is because there's a video on my channel where I find the biggest thrift store find ever. I found this bag of pure GIJoe, a Real American Hero parts, and it was like Sarge's baton and all these little pieces, the most sought after pieces ever, were all in this bag, and it was out on the thrift store wall, and I was like, yes please, I'll take this for like $2 Canadian. And I was thinking about it later. I'm like, what are the chances that a bag of this stuff came in and it went down the wall? I would suggest that it was more likely somebody in the back end collected all this stuff, maybe had a bag and had it stowed away, and one day they didn't come to work, and another worker was like, hey, what's this bag of stuff or whatever? I'm going to put this out on the shelf. I think that is what happened in my case. Now, in my case, that was an amazing find, and there's a video on the channel. You should check it out because you would not believe the amount of stuff in those 2 bags that I got, and it cost me like, I think $3 for each bag. It was ridiculous, the stuff that was in the bag. So what I'm saying is, what I'm complaining about is it's bad enough when you have to deal with like the people that spend all day at the thrift store and like you go for your one little trip and they're able to pick up your stuff, and that happens, that's okay. But when you're fighting the people in the back end that have the premium access for them stuff, Value Village does have this rule where employees are not allowed to purchase things while they're on shift or whatever. But I've heard stories where people like put stuff in garbage bags and lay stuff in the dumpster out back, and then they come back and pick it up. You know what I mean? I've heard a story about that. And you know what? The rules, there are rules, but you know people don't follow the rules all the time. So I have found maybe the city of Ottawa is just out of stuff and it doesn't have any more to give. But usually you'll see stuff that you might not want to buy. Like, you know, like, just think of all the 80s and 90s properties that you could potentially find at a thrift store, let alone Transformers and G.I. Joe. And you know what? Sometimes I can't find anything. I haven't found anything this week. I'm trying to think if I purchased anything. Oh, I bought a Wolverine comic, and I can't reach it right now. There was like Wolverine number 50, and it has this really cool die cut cover with his claws through it, and it was like $1.50. I bought that. That was about it for the thrift store. Nothing this week, and it was kind of disappointing. So I don't know. Hopefully it picks up a bit because I do enjoy a good thrift store. The one thing I did pick up this week, Bear with me for 1 second. Gotta get this in shot. I picked up this week. So I have a vintage tomahawk. So I actually have the Eagle Strike. I believe that's the reissue name, Eagle something. I have that. It's over there, and it has some improvements over this. But I mean, you always want a vintage version, right, guys? Like, you always want a vintage version. So somebody was traded me this locally. They had it all. I had the front windshield, so it worked out great for me. But yeah, so this is pretty sweet. So the difference, if you have the Eagle Strike, I believe that's the name of it. One is lucky, two might be a coincidence, three or more a plan. What are you referring to, Mark? Sorry, I can't remember what I was talking to when you're comment what you're referring to. Anyways, so I got this. So the Eagle Strike, the rotors actually can turn, and you're able to store it a bit better. This one is obviously vintage. They don't turn. They're pretty straight though. I was amazed at how straight this is. One has a bit of a curl to it, but I mean, you got to pick up the vintage tomahawk when I had the chance. Anyways, I'm toying with the idea of hanging it from the ceiling and putting some guys in it. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I'm going to put this back over here. It has not been filed away, and hopefully it does not fall over. Okay, sorry. So that's it. Yeah. I'm thinking, what else have I picked up recently? I haven't really picked up much. There hasn't been much on the go with the thrift store. I'm trying to think what else I can talk about here. Yeah, the Eagle Hawk. Oh, finding good pieces. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah, Eagle Hawk, yeah, Strike, yeah, it's something like that. I know. I have the box in the garage, and I can never remember the name of it. It looks almost identical to the other one, and if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't really notice the difference. But I wanted to get the vintage one because, I mean, I'm a vintage collector, so I thought it was pretty cool to get. So I mean, now I have both of them. I don't know, it's so funny. I am not an army builder, but one thing I've noticed over the last little while related to my GIJoe stuff is, I will end up collecting multiple of stuff. And like, if I just take this bin here for a second, like, look at this, guys. Like, look at this. Like, look at this. I could just like, there's 3 ferrets here. There's one in the case or whatever. I've got like 4 or 5 cobra claws. There's just stuff. I got like 3 or 4 of the battle bears. And then my latest obsession is the swamp skier. I've got like, I think 3 of these, working on my 4th one. I got to get 1 for each mainline dreadnought. It's not done on purpose. It's just sometimes when I see this stuff, I'm like, well, I want it in my collection. I want to save it. I want to save it from the other person. Especially when you get people who are selling their old stuff. I'm like, well, I want to bring it to my collection. And, when I get bored of it, I'll sell the extras or whatever. Yeah, you've been looking, what is it? Fathom Sun. You've been looking for a tomahawk? Yeah, like, I mean, I've been looking one for a while. I passed on one, just a shell, at the thrift store about a year ago. And even then I kind of kicked myself. They wanted $10 and it was just a shell. And I don't even think it didn't have any of the rotors. And I was like, I have a lot of the pieces for it. I was like, oh, I don't want to buy that. But I was kicking myself. But now I'm so glad I was able to get that one. You can't find any stuff in New York? Like, when you say you're in New York, are you in New York City or like upper New York? Where are you in New York? Meanwhile, as a kid, I had 100% complete collection to a certain year. Oh, yeah, I know. That's always the case, right? As a kid, so much stuff. I was lucky as a kid. So I'm from Canada. I'm originally from Eastern Canada, out east. And I had so many vehicles. I had so many figures. And it came to a point, where like you're getting older and you don't, have the necessary room, or you're not playing with these toys, you're moved on to, girls and other stuff and stuff like that, and you're getting older. And my mom gave away all my vehicles. So I didn't have any of my vehicles, but the figures were in a case and they were small enough, so I kept all my figures from childhood. So that is what my G.I. Joe collection is built on, and obviously I've added more stuff since then or whatever throughout the years. Like I'm still getting stuff. Like last week, I think I showed this guy off last week. I think I showed him. So I got this Cobra Commander, which I never had before. Version 4. I talked about him last week. But I'm always getting new stuff. So it's cool when you're able to get that. But yeah, I what I'm saying is I understand the pain that you don't have the stuff necessarily you had as part of your childhood. I miss it too. My mom gave away all my Transformers, but thank goodness I have got them all back. My wife hates it, but I enjoy it. New York City, hey, New York City, I can see New York City, hey, being a hard place to like find some vintage toys. I mean, yeah, that'd be interesting. Mark, I have to admit, for vintage helicopter, my grail is no longer a Tomahawk, not a Fang or a Dragonfly, but the TriStar UH-47, the MASH chopper made in 1/18 by TriStar. That's interesting. I think I might have had that as a kid, if that is the one I'm thinking about. Like, was that the one? Is that made by Tonka? No, I don't know. I don't know anything about that stuff. Yeah. Correction, no flag as a kid, right? Yeah, nobody had a flag as a kid. Man, that box. I'm not really sure why I didn't have a flag as a kid. My parents, they were pretty generous with the G.I. Joe and the Transformers. I don't know. We didn't really, when I was a kid, when I was really a lot younger, there was no, say, Toys R Us in our area. So I don't know if that was maybe something like, could you find the flag on the shelf at a Walmart? And I don't even know if we had a Walmart back in the day. I don't really know. So I don't think the flag was readily available to me out in the East Coast when it was on retail shelves. You actually gave yours away to your nephew when you thought you were a man. That's hilarious. Happens to the best of us. You're like, I don't need these anymore. It's funny you say that. There was one time as a like 13, 14, or 15-year-old, I can't remember exactly, I had in my room, in my parents' house, I had this little dish, and I had a Crimson Guard and a Dr. Mindbender in it. And a buddy of mine, he came over, and two of my buddies, and we were like hanging out, like playing video games or something. And he went to leave, and he's like, "Hey, you want these anymore?" And I was like, too cool for school because I'm old now. I don't need these G.I. Joe figures. And I was like, "No, bro, you can just have them. You can just have them." And I gave him this Crimson Guard and this Dr. Mindbender, and I'm like kicking myself because, like, man, who wouldn't want to have another Crimson Guard in their collection right now, right? I've got 2 right now, but I mean, obviously you'd love to have a 3rd Crimson Guard. Anyways, it's just so funny because you're just, at some point you thought you were like, yeah, I don't need these, I'm just too cool. Like, yeah, you just take those, right? Oh, TriStar made a small line. Yeah, I'm not familiar with MASH. I'm not into MASH stuff or whatever, but yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. Anyways, it's just so funny about that, about how like stuff gets given away. It's funny because with my own kids, I have my own kids now who are younger. One is getting older. He really liked Mega Constructs, like the Halo and the Call of Duty stuff. And we're not giving that away. I'm putting that in a box. Like, it's in a box. It's going in a box, and it's going in the basement. That's not being given away. Like, that stuff's too cool. He'll want that. He still loves it, but he doesn't really have the time to play with it or put it together anymore. But it's not being given away. We're going to get a flag, but I got nearly, I cannot remember why, but no, I know. Oh yeah, that's great that you have one. I have never, that's a lie. A friend of mine that I know here locally had one. I've seen one. I do not have one, and never will. Those things are way too expensive. Like people here, I've seen them sell for like $2,000 and $3,000 Canadian. Like that's a lot, man. I can't pay that for a 7-foot coffee table that looks like a aircraft carrier. I would love to have one, but the thing is, if I had a flag, I'd have to get a new house to like have a special room with it or something. Anyway, so I mean, no flag in my future for sure. Like even if somebody was like, hey, I want to give you this, I'd have to take it and like never put it together because I don't necessarily have the room to ever put it together. I mean, I guess if somebody gave me one for free locally, I'd put it together to see what it looked like, but there's no room to keep that thing together. Like you had to have like, Fathom Son, do you have yours like together? Like, and with like with your stuff, like your planes on it right now? Like, do you have a space for it? Let me know. Or is it in like a box somewhere, just like, or just like, sorry. Yeah. Cool. That's awesome, dude. Anyways, oh yeah, the flag would be so cool. I mean, like as like you're looking through those pamphlets or whatever, like those the product pamphlets as a kid, of course, man, the idea of having the flag, that would have been so cool as a kid. That would have been like next level. That would have been such an amazing thing to play with. Didn't have one. It's funny because like I mentioned earlier, I'm unintentionally army building a bunch of stuff. I just showed you a bunch of stuff that's in the, like the ferrets and the swamp skiers. Currently right now, if I went through my list of stuff, unintentionally, okay? Because sometimes I buy this stuff to like fix up my own or even resell it or whatever as a collector to make more money. So we just said, what? I have 4 ferrets, 5 cobra claws, 5 trouble bubbles, 3 swamp skiers, 3 or 4 hiss tanks, 2, let's say 2 tomahawks. We'll consider the other one a tomahawk as well. 2 tomahawks. I actually have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4 night ravens sitting behind me. 1 is complete. The other 3 are being rebuilt. So I have 4 night ravens behind me right now. Besides that, I have, I think, 2 or 3 cobra rattlers. And as well, I think I have 3 sky strikers. Unintentional. I don't have the room for all this stuff. I mean, but the idea of having sky strikers on a USS flag will be so badass. Oh my gosh. I am so jealous to all you guys out there that have USS flags that are able to set up like dioramas with your jets and your stuff and your guys. You don't understand how jealous I am because I know I'll never get there. But more power to you. So, sorry, my voice is starting to crack here. So I mean, yeah, I'm really hoping, you know what's funny? I did mention the thrift store. The thrift store, when I find stuff, I record it, right? And I put it up usually as shorts, and there's a couple other videos, long form videos on the channel where I show off multiple scores of the thrift store. But Transformers are fairly common at the thrift store here. Like modern Transformers, sometimes you'll find the vintage Transformers Generation 1, Armada, Unicron Trilogy. You'll never find GIJoe stuff. I never find GIJoe stuff. I don't know. Once again, it goes to my theory that there's people behind the scenes that are taking the GIJoe stuff. It's really hard to find. Sorry, I gotta take up sound. Currently, I'm Arian collecting, focusing on GIJoe and Transformers, 100% on classified Transformers. I have Robertson waiting on Bumblebee now, soon after Laza. Okay, Mr. Fathom Son, I am going to assume you're either a doctor or a lawyer, because you're telling me you have all the Robertson characters. You, sir, must be rich beyond your belief, or you are an influencer yourself, because Robertson are a crazy amount of money, and I think they are really cool. when I was at TFCon last year, Robosen was there at the convention, and they were demoing the Megatron tank. See, you said, laugh out loud, no, I'm not a doctor. You did not deny that you could be a lawyer as well. Because you must have a fair amount of income coming in. And we don't need to talk about your income, but Robosen are so expensive and such a niche product. And the people out there who buy them, I'm just like, crazy. That is crazy that you have all of them. Like, that is crazy. More power to you, good sir. More power to you. Keep up the good work and the good fight. That is crazy. Crazy. I know that you're getting the HasLab Rattler. That's cool. And you're still trying to track down a Unicron HasLab. That's pretty cool. You know what's funny about that? It wasn't last year, 2 years ago at TFCon. Which is, sorry, in case you don't know, TFCon is the biggest Transformer convention in Canada. It happens in July, just in case anyone doesn't know. And I go every year. I've been going for like 13 or 14 years. 2 years ago, there was a guy, he had the HasLab Unicron. He had put it in a baby carriage. He had a full, like, Greco baby carriage, like, opened it up, put the Unicron in there, and he was wheeling it around. It is that big when it is transformed in robot mode. So, that is pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, I really hope if you're doing Robosen, you're doing the early bird specials and getting the discount on those. I mean, that's the fact that they have to do early bird discount tells me that they're expensive products. I know they're quality products. I could never afford those. I would never be able to buy those. Oh my gosh. If I bought those, my wife would hand me divorce papers the next day. I think a lot of people are in that scenario. I don't know. That's just my theory. Really cool though. I like how they do the voices and everything, and they move. So I mean, what about Fathomsome? I did a video. What do you think about the Devastator one? The Devastator one that is rumored. How are they going to pull that off? How are they going to pull off the 6 guys, forming? There's going to have to be some parts forming in there, right? I did a video on that on the channel as well. There's going to have to be some parts forming. I would assume the 6 individual Constructicons will automatically transform, but you're going to have to pick them up and form Devastator on a skeleton system. There's a video on the channel about that. If you're not aware of the Devastator Robosen that is rumored, check that out. Also, guys, while you're here, if you can you leave a like on this stream? It really helps me. Leave a like, and if you're not subscribed, you've just randomly found this stream and you're like up late at night because it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, can you hit the subscribe button as well? I'd really appreciate it. But hit the like button if you can while you're here. Yeah. But Robosen, dude, more power to you. Oh man, that's crazy. I wonder if they will be at TFCon this year, showing off maybe the Bumblebee one. Yeah. Replacing the wife with Transformers. I'm not seeing the problem here. Yeah, believe me, dude. I understand. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Nice, Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd probably be a lot skinnier if I didn't have my wife to cook me some amazing food. Yeah, see, the thing is about the Combiner Robosen is, I mentioned in my video, we don't have the technology yet where they can fly through the air and combine themselves. So unless there's some kind of mechanism where you lay them down and they all form that way and then it stands up, I don't know how they're going to do that. I'm not really sure. And we definitely don't have the technology where they can fly through the air and form themselves. So I personally believe you're going to have to form them on the skeleton system, much like the Menasor Transformer from Legacy. I think that's what we're going to have to do. Yeah, magnets. Magnets possibly, I know. once again, I think the only way you could do it is if they were lying down on the ground. We'll see. We will see how that goes. I mean, of course, it's only rumored as of right now. Of course, if you dive into it, there are, say, prototype documents out there that show it off, and I've included that in my video that I put out. Strong magnets, I think, like, potential to, like, pull it along on a table, but not up in the air. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I think my concern, though, what is the price of this thing going to be? Each other Roboson figures has been like roughly $1,000. If we're talking about 6 mini Roboson figures, you know, are we talking $1,500? Are we talking $2,000 for all of them? I mean, I think it's going to be very, very, very pricey. A limited run of that for sure. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So we've had like 15 people here streaming tonight. That's pretty good. That's like, I think, a highlight so far. I mean, I know it's kind of, I'm still a rookie guy at this or whatever, right? So, just a second now. So I do appreciate everyone that's dropped by to check out what I had to say this week or whatever. But it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and I do enjoy these late night streams because, you know, it's fun. I can talk about whatever I want or whatever. But I'm actually going to end it here now in a second, guys. So I do appreciate everyone coming out and watching the stream. And you know what? Like I said, if you can leave a like, hit a subscribe, check out some of the long form videos. I really appreciate it if you can do that. They come close to each other. Magnets make contact and the difference begins to stand up. I know. I think, yeah, we'll see how it comes out. Hopefully, maybe we can get more leaks about that in the coming months. Maybe San Diego Comic-Con. Comic-Con is known for its leaks and stuff that people are showing off there. So, I don't know. Yeah. So, guys, you get some sleep as well. We're going to end it right here. Thanks for checking us out, and I will be back next week at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time to talk about Transformers and G.I. Joe, everything that happened during the week, what I've managed to pick up at the thrift store, and, you know, what else I can find on Facebook Marketplace, anything related to my Transformers and G.I. Joe collection. And if you have questions or you have comments, leave them down below. I'll answer every comment and everything that people mention on any of my videos, because I know that's important in building a community. So I really appreciate you guys dropping by and watching the video, and I will see you next week. You have a good night, Fathom Sun and Phoenix. We'll see you. Come back next week, okay? You be here. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Stopping the stream. Have a good one. Bye. And we're out. And I pressed the wrong button. And oh yeah, sorry, press the wrong button, guys.